He was mostly calm during our conversation, but he occasionally nibbled on the legs of chairs during nervous outbursts. He had come to lay bare his soul and uphold the honor and dignity of alligators everywhere. So what follows, fellow poets and poetesses, is an Islander exclusive, an interview with an alligator. And my first question to him was, what prompted you to break the centuries-old code of silence among alligators and elect to talk to the media? Alligator. Well, there's been so much distortion of what we alligators are like that I felt compelled to set the record straight. We have been portrayed as being violent, evil, ugly, and vicious. The fact is that contrary to how the Islander portrays alligators, and Joe Pacheco as well, we are a gentle, caring, and loving species. We are forced to hide and remain secretive because your newspaper has maligned us. I said, well, why are you wearing a mask? He said, again, contrary to what you humans think, all alligators do not look alike. While my brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles, for that matter, have similar characteristics, each of us has a totally distinct appearance. For example, he said, it might surprise you to learn that I, personally, am considered one of the more attractive males on the island. I am told I have a winning smile, and I wear a mask to avoid the wrath of my own people. My next question was, well, you know, the biggest gripe that we humans have against alligators is that you seem to appear out of nowhere and you startle us suddenly. And some of you have been known to turn up in our swimming pools. And how do you respond to that? His answer, well, if you had a choice between lolling around in a swimming pool and trying to breathe in that disgusting swamp in Ding Darling, where would you go? My next question, well, let's try to debunk some of the myths about alligators. It is said that you can move as fast as 40 miles an hour. Is that true? He said, well, you'd move that fast too if you couldn't scratch that itch under your stomach. Question, well, what about your cavernous mouth, your menacing ways, and your questionable diet? Answer, he began to jeer at me. Well, this is all part of the malicious alligator joke, the alligator joke syndrome that has infected the humans of Sanibel. Believe me, I've seen some visitors down here with mouths just as big as ours. And speaking of diets, at least alligators don't eat tofu. And have you ever heard of alligators buying shoes and bags made out of humans? Talk about menacing. I saw my uncle recently on the feet of one of your city council members. I say it's time to stop the alligator jokes and focus humor where it really belongs, on your local officials. Question, do you have any parting words for Islander readers? Alligator, yes. We alligators are anxious to improve our image among you humans. We're planning to conduct a peaceful demonstration on Periwinkle in the very near future. Thousands of alligators will march peacefully, carrying placards calling for an end to injustices to alligators. Our signs will say, make love, not choose. Thank you.
I apologize to Art Stevens and the alligator. I did write horse alligator and minority alligator rap. In which I thought the alligator defended himself very well. I'm going to read a poem that normally I throw on the ground and then pick up as a gesture, a way of introducing the poem. Unfortunately, as you can see, if I did that, I'd still be looking for it. And I wouldn't be able to get up. This poem, I said not to talk about a poem or technical things about a poem. I could say that this poem is a 19-line villanelle, which is a poem with 2 different rhyme families and refrain, and the refrains start out separated in each stanza by the second refrain, and they chase each other around the poem until the refrains meet at the end, and they have total consummation for the poem. But I won't say that. I said you're supposed to read the poem. Forget this stuff. So here I go. Poem, Fall Not Far From Me. Poem, fall not far from me, bitter or sweet, your words are mine. You are my apple, I am your tree. Try as you might, you cannot flee, bound as we are like grape divine. Poem, fall not far from me. Seek not separate epiphany, or look to sip a different wine. You are my fruit, I am your tree. A ground and shade is your penalty. New loves and worlds cannot be thine. Poem, fall not far from me. No child of discord dare you be, ripe with rebellion in every line. You are the scion, but I am the tree. Tempt not some Adam to bite on thee, or his lady Eve in verse enshrined. You are my knowledge, I am your tree. Fall not, poet, far from me. Thank you. Diana Howard.
Thank you, Joe. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Last fall, I published a book called Winter Solstice, Memoir and Poetry, and it was about my 10 to 15 year journey with my mother who had vascular dementia. And I won't say any more than that, but we all know what that's like. This is one poem from that book. Mother seems not ready to lay down her arms. She may never be ready to give up faith that her world is still of her own making. Yet how can we keep looking for silver linings when even the hawk has lost its way? It appeared at my feeder, seeming unsure of how to use the primal power in its talons. I knew something had changed when a chickadee began feeding just beneath this roost. A chickadee that will lower its body temperature on the earth's coldest days to preserve its ability to fly and to sing. Mother is the chickadee, mother is the hawk, and still matriarch of all. Okay, I was going to just read 2, but then I threw this one in at the last. I live on the Missouri River in the summertime, and we're headed back tomorrow. This was written after a walk along the river. Dear Speak, if I had not looked up, I would have missed you standing just to the right of the crushed limestone path, looking statuesque and purposeful. Your cautious stare framed by the delicacy of a spring dogwood branch. I half expected you to speak about the way my footsteps navigated through the brambles, inept and stumbling. I imagined following you on the trail you had made, leaping over fallen trees, blithely skipping through grassy fields. I remain most grateful for the way you spoke to me that day, your eyes never leaving mine, telling me to press on, unafraid. And my last poem, I'm not going to explain. I think it'll be clear. The Mountain, for Elizabeth. Today, take small steps in sync with the rising sun. Find your breath. Meet the moment in front of you as if no other moment exists. Make it to the next day and the next. Try to embrace the sad steps, the angry steps, the heavy chest, the raining of tears. Look for warmth in the darkest of clouds. What was safe is now tenuous. What was whole is now shattered. It has always been about putting one foot in front of the other, tamping down brush in front of you, making right turns and wrong turns, reaching a clearing, remembering to breathe, then looking back to see how far you've come. You will see your place. You will give back. You will live, nurturing your wounded heart.
Andi, Horowitz.
I have only one thing. I'm honored to stand in front of you today, and I hope when I finish that my mom will feel the love of her eldest, her daughter. Emergency. Chromosomes tightly wound unwind slowly from DNA rooms. Audio wallpaper. Ever-present beep. Heart rate slow. Beep, beep. Pulse ox low. Beep, beep, beep. Empty med bags. Fear shrouds my mother. Her mascara streaked around her crow's feet make her look like defeated, like a knocked out boxer. Her eyelashes sticky, weep onto lifeless floors. I brace. What comes next? Wanting to smear divine language, I dare my fingers defile these bricks, this room, these machines. Measures her life and rewrites mine. A shrill beat. My mother's lungs still breathe, and I see the streaks of bleach sprinting through blue plastic tubes that say caution, keep away, fire and deafening silence. I look up at the clock's oversized face and hands, like a nursery school's. Ceiling lights hide behind polystyrene tiles, terrified to shine. Beep! Punctuates silence. She's nothing more than 23 chromosomes subdued under institutional sheets. Stamped hospital corners hold her cold feet as if positioned for toe tags. Like John Doe's in the morgue, 2 amino actors stage final hours. My pen scripts her every spark seeping into the faint blue lines of my white notepaper as if they were her veins and atrophied gray matter. Her body, like icebergs, cracks into my skin. I was late. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Linda Hughes. and I'm very happy to be with all of you today while we bask in the light of poetry for a while.
Linda, put the mic up a little.
It's good. The first poem I'm going to read to you is titled A Day Trip Home.